God, it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Obiajilu Ubo, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Good to see you.
Yes, I'm excited for tonight. I'm geared up for tonight.
Yeah. Nice,
we're going to boogie down.
Yes.
So after the show now, just go rest a bit, then start getting ready to come out for the event. Since I and my twin sister will be co-hosting the event. After the show, I'll go and sit down quickly, put some things together, then head home.
Looking forward.
Oh,
Mr. Boy is still coming,
Yeah,
this we have to continue to manage them.
But you know me now. I don't need managing. I know how to blackmail very well. I've blackmailed him for the future if he doesn't show up. He's coming.
I am
usually support.
This morning, I said, Brown, don't forget to deal.
We're going together.
Please do. He said, don't worry, because his friends are coming.
Okay.
Together. So I'll join Mr. Brown, I said, no problem.
They will have fun. Let them come and support us.
Alaja, Nima, Akashat, Zuberi, how are you? Yes.
I don't have the support of Mr. Zuberi to come. I'll be on my own. Yes. I'm used to that. That's how our own house works. We don't do vows, and he doesn't want to do vows, but we're fine. And I wanted to banter. So, I wanted to say thank you to Amawanda Foods and Spices.
Amawanda!
So everybody at the event will be getting,
very supportive.
And the ladies are getting the big, I'm trying to remember the grams for the big bottles.
So thank you so much.
The jumbo size. So I didn't bring it. So doing that next week, but the car is next week. For gifts for all the people who subscribe for our Valentine event. And Joe Mascot for our bags. Thank you very much.
Joe Mascot.
Thank you. So the gifts and we're going to be everybody coming.
Pagzo is also doing
So thank you.
So we're so excited.
To all of them.
Who will go home with load today? I'm so excited about that.
I'm excited. Mr. Longa is coming.
But
I was like, I'll do it for you. So we'll be there. I'm really, truly excited. And I know that everyone who comes will have a lovely time. And as you know, this is just like the first step in the many other activities that we have. We have lined up until our 10th anniversary. So come, let's enjoy each other's company.
And see, and your view, as you said, your view is not is a show for regular folks. You know, we're for people, the regular Nigerians. And when we do events like this, we just want to have opportunity to sit down with ourselves and tell each other the truth. You know, learn from each other, share knowledge, see how we can influence other. I can learn from Obiajilu, I can learn from Nima, I can learn from Miriam, Waiki, and others. So the point is that let's come together, have fun. And if you've not paid for the ticket, you can still, I think we have a few more tickets left.
Thank you to Mr. Richard for sponsoring.
Mr. Richard,
so he's not here.
Yes, he paid for somebody.
So we have gifts. We'll be giving out during the show.
I think I have one free ticket for somebody, a couple.
We have
I have a free ticket for a couple. Send me a message, DM before the end of the show. I see your DM and I look at the time. That means you're the couple that's going to get it for free. So thanks to Mr. Richard. Thanks to Mr. Richard. There's a time. It's now, and when does the show end? 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Dinner at 11 o'clock. I'll see who sends me, Murayo, a DM. Then I'll be the couple that'll get it. Okay, let's go on a break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Buhari under attack for flouting Supreme Court's ruling. Ibadan stands still for Tinubu as Oyo will vote equity, Justice Makinators APC candidate. Window of settlement between G5 Atiku closed, says Wike. Bayelsa to get looted $954.8 million. Buhari in Addis Ababa for OAU summit. And survey projects Tinubu to win presidential poll. Okay, quite a lot of editorials here in Nation, but let me start with the major headline. Who has that story?
What's the major headline?
Buhari under attack for flouting Supreme Court.
Yes, so the Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Moyoshore Onigbanjo, SAN, has reacted to President Muhammadu Buhari's rejection of the old note, saying it's contrary to the Supreme Court's judgment. He said this when he appeared on TVC Business Show, and he said petrol stations, banks, and others who reject the Naira notes will be prosecuted. He also talked about the fact that the scarcity in the land is being because of the fact that the POS, businessmen are the ones who are putting this untold hardship on Nigerians, and the people are going to be buying their own Naira. That it doesn't make sense at all. He said people who are hungry, have no means of livelihood, cannot care about anything called macroeconomic policy or a short or long-term gain. And he also mentioned that there's a contract between a customer and a bank that says when you bring your money to us, you have your money back on demand, and any bank who refuses to give the money on demand has violated that contract and can be sued. And so he's advising Lagosians who have, been affected by some of this to take the banks to court, because there's an agreement that once I give you my money, I should have my money when I need it. Then he went ahead to talk about some states who are already giving out palliatives, like I think Borno State. They are releasing about 300 million medical supplies to different hospitals so that they can take care of people who cannot afford it. And they are appealing, if you know you can afford it, please don't hide your money and say you cannot afford it, so there is enough for those people who need it. I think in Kebbi State, they are distributing food through the local government, rice, maize, millet, and others. In those states, they've given till the 20th of February, free transportation. The government has said that people should have free transportation, just a way to cushion the effects of what's happening here.
There's an editorial that I think I should read in connection to this. So the editorial doesn't have a name of who was a commentary. It says the Supreme Court tells the nation what the ground norm says. So when anyone, including the president, issues an order or endangers an action that runs counter to it, it's a recipe for anarchy. It subordinates the Constitution to the whims and calculations of a man or a group of people. It means the society has veered from democracy to autocracy. And I think we echoed that yesterday when we were having that conversation. But are we really running democracy? Okay, let's take another story in the nation.
So I have the U.S. signs an agreement signed on behalf of Nigeria by the Solicitor General and the PAMSEC of the Federal Ministry of Justice to repatriate $954,807 back to the country, which are part of the loot of the former governor, late Alamisia.
Less than $1 million.
Less than $1 million. So it says part of the forfeitures that have been happening as regards his estate. And Mrs. J.D. Aigbe, who is the Solicitor General, also said that the president has directed that fund should be directed towards building health facilities in Bayelsa who own the state. So we're not in that Delta category where Delta people and the federal government were arguing who owns the funds. This one has already been directed to go back to the Bayelsa State. Yeah.
So my own story is just an itinerary of what our president will be up to in a couple of days. He departed Abuja for Addis Ababa yesterday, and he went there to participate in the 36th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union. And he says while he's there, he'll be participating in 3 high-level meetings on peace and security, climate change, and political situation in some of the West African countries.
The Punch. Better days aren't coming. Despair, disappointment after Major General Buhari's retire as address. Police hand over illegal arms and ammunition to NSA. Lagos soldier killed by policeman buried. Nigeria's oil output rises by 31 million barrels, says OPEC. Economic crisis, man says job losses likely. And Naira redesign plot to scuttle elections, install interim government, says El Rufai. Which story are we starting with?
I'll start with the picture story. So ahead of the general elections, the Nigerian police force on Thursday handed over a total of 6,338 illegal arms and ammunition recovered from criminals and non-state non-state actors across the country. And they handed this over to the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, which is domiciled in the Office of the National Security Advisor. And also through the report, so that we don't waste any time, they gave specific number of what falls under the arms, the different number that falls under assorted calibers of ammunition, and so on and so forth. And then the National Coordinator, NCCSALW, Major General A.M. Diko, retired, noted that some of the ammunition will be given back to the police to strengthen its capacity to protect citizens.
Yeah. So the human interest story, a soldier who was reportedly stabbed to death by a policeman around Odogunyo area in Ikorodu, Lagos on Wednesday has been buried. They said the soldier was attached to the 174 Battalion of the Nigerian Army and was identified as Corporal Sahid Ugulowo. So they said, according to the story, that he was stabbed to death by a police corporal around the bus stop during a disagreement. So apparently he had come out to ask. He saw the police officer standing beside his vehicle and he was asking him questions. They said the police officer didn't look well dressed, so he wanted to know exactly who he was and where he was from to be sure that he was actually a police officer. And then they got into a disagreement and he was stabbed to death. According to the story as well, they said some soldiers came back for a reprisal, burnt some vehicles in the police station and others. But the army responded to say that it's not the soldiers that did that it was the mob that saw what happened and took advantage to start, burning things. But they have visited, the commissioner had visited the widow in the, their barrack, and also assured that they would take care of her.
Sad that we're
rest in peace. Yeah.
This unrest happening across the country. The president went ahead when he could have just hidden behind the Supreme Court and let rule of law guide. Went ahead and declared further action.
All right, so the Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, on Thursday described the current scarcity of notes in the country as a plot, an alleged plot to disrupt the forthcoming elections and ensure an interim government. According to them, those who are advising the president were trying to run, were hoping to get the ticket for the APC or be picked as vice president. And because they did not get that, they have convinced the president that it's okay for Nigerians to starve and businesses to have lack of cash, just in order to ensure that the APC presidential aspirant doesn't, the flag bearer of the APC doesn't win. He said once Asiwaju emerges as the candidate for the June 27 primaries, subsequently they were upset because he did not pick one of them as a running mate. This currency design was conceived to ensure that the APC presidential candidate is deprived of what they say allegedly humongous watches. So they assume that he has plenty money somewhere. Wow. Once he's for elections. Anyway, so that was quite very, very insane. I don't even know what to describe it. Bold, I would say, but especially because the president had just given his speech, and there you have a Kaduna State governor addressing his people and Nigeria by saying that this is a direct affront on
this is the governor who has continually said that, I know the president. It's the people around him I don't know. I'm sure of who the president, and he's coming out now. Well, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have released their quarterly index, the CEO's Confidence Index, which is a quarterly research and advocacy publication that they have, and they are predicting job losses in the year 2023. They said that based on the research that they have done towards the last quarter of 2022 into the first quarter of 2023, there will continue to be a dip below benchmark point to 48.8 points in the first quarter of 2023, and a downward spiral of 49.2 points obtained in the preceding year. So they are predicting that businesses will have to downsize, people will lose jobs because we are going to adjust to this new hardship and scarcity of naira notes and fuel.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on Third Mainland Bridge on a bike and the person say babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So, what would change? What would change the scenario? For, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your be right.
Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you na dey jog.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive near water. You must consider.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Leifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we
this
won't judge
certain type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on
home.
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Mom just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
when they are nice divorcees,
I would just
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll not drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you are paying me.
so it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. Yeah. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Shock, anger greets Buhari's approval of the old 200 notes. Insecurity, Ohaneze to hold peace summit invites Kano and Aigbe. U.S. returns $954,000 Alamisia loot, fears possible protests during elections. Security agencies to deploy 400,000 operatives for the presidential poll. NECA urges defaulting states to pay up 3 billion naira debt releases 2022 SSC results. It's too late for G5 to reconcile with PDP, says Wike. UK cautions over spike in criminal activity at bank, ATMs, financial institutions, beef up security, and stop crying foul. Release touch naira to Nigerians, PDP tells APC leaders. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me start with the UK. So the UK, United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office has issued travel advisory to their people. they have said, okay, those of you here, please be careful. Nigeria is mainly a cash economy, and although they use the credit and debit cards, is increasing, but in big cities, that's only where you can use that. If you tend to use cash, make sure you bring enough foreign currency for that cash. So you are not even bothering to exchange, you just pay in your currency. Own. It's illegal to change money on the streets. They also want that credit card fraud is common here. So be careful when you remove your card to use. They don't want for that that there have been a redesign of our notes and there are shortages and they are likely to persist. This is likely to persist for a while. So there's tension around ATM areas, banks. So you should be there are citizens in our country should be careful how they use the ATMs to get cash and all of that. They're not talking anything different. It's the truth of what is in our country, but they're warning.
They see they steal card for their own place. They go there too.
They
They
take
our.
They're not fighting at
They're our things, please.
We hear,
focus.
but they are supposed to help warn their people now. That's what the
And
good government should do. Anyways, our River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, has said that the G5 group governors, who he also calls the Integrity Group, have they've reached the point of no return when it comes to reconciliation, that all these small talks of maybe they're still going to sit down and reconcile, that there's no reconciliation, and that it's untrue to say that they all are going their separate ways or doing different things, that they are all, they all believe in the value that brought them together. Right. And so there's nothing about them ever reconciling. He says concerning PDP, the presidential rally that was supposed to hold in River State, he said, don't mind them, they collected money and they were unable to even muster people to come for the rally, and then they came up with such an outlandish story they came up with a story saying that there was insecurity in River State because they could not bring people together. He also said that he has no apology for hosting the APC presidential candidate and his people. And he also talked about the president and his response and his speech concerning the illegalization of the 1,500 naira notes in spite of the Supreme Court order. And he said that the president ideally should be the epitome of the rule of law. Regrettably, he's taking steps to undermine the integrity of the Supreme Court. So it looks like it's just criticism to the president from all quarters.
So, Council of Elders of Ohanese Ndigbo making efforts for the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, to be released to attend the peace summit that it's organizing so that it can resolve security challenges and talk about the sit-at-home order by some pro-Biafra group. They are also inviting to the summit the Finland-based Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa, another leader of pro-Biafra group, as well as Igbo stakeholders. So the Chairman Council of the Elders of the Ohanese Ndigbo, Emmanuel Iwanyanwu, was talking about this yesterday, and he said the summit will pave a way for a smooth election in the zone. They've been hearing lots of people saying that elections will not hold in Igbo land, and this is very, very unfair because they are trying as much as possible to make sure that election holds. If election doesn't hold, that means Igbo people do not have any say on who governs them. So they must make sure that everybody comes out to vote. They are also trying to ensure that the 5 governors of the Southeast participate in the summit so that they can all talk to their people. The IPOB is saying that they are going to support and ensure that election will hold, but there are other factions who are trying to insist on this sit-at-home, boycott election and all that. So they want to use this peace summit to sort that out.
Fantastic. Let's move on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune. Naira Policy Broadcast. Speaker, NBF Afenifere, IPAC, others false Buhari. Tinubu in Ibadan presents APC flag to Folarin. Lead APC chieftains to Makinde and meet Obas. Court stops PDP from expelling Autumn. Retired generals, losers of APC gubernatorial presidential primaries want interim government, says El Rufai. Oh, I take that story.
You've taken it, yeah. It's okay.
That story I will not taken. Okay, let's move on quickly to Vanguard. Taking the story. Again, Naira Policy gets saboteurs arrested, tried. Buhari tells CBN. PDP to APC leaders release hoarded Naira notes. Polls reject candidates with questionable traits, says Catholic Bishop. Polls, why Southeast must produce the next president, says Okurumu, ex-Afenifere. Suspected meningitis outbreak kills 38 in Jigawa. And over 57% make credit in English. Matt, as NECO releases 2022 results. Okay.
Let me take the no fewer than 38 persons suspected to have died from cerebrospinal meningitis in Jigawa State. Dr. Salisu Maazu, that's the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, told newsmen in Dutse yesterday. They said that also they have a total of 398 suspected cases, and this has been between October 2022 till date. They said that they had detected this disease in 56 of their wards across 7 local governments, especially the areas of the state that bordered the Niger Republic. He says when the outbreak was initially noticed, it was along the neighboring Niger Republic areas, the border communities along that area, but it has spread, and they listed the different areas that have been affected by this. I know that in Nigeria we get this nearly every year where meningitis is something that just many communities go through, and I'm just hoping that eventually somehow we're able to do something about this quickly. And as we know, they said the CMS disease is commonly, which is the type A. This one, we discovered that it is bacteria known as type B, so this is a little bit different. And the state government and Ministry of Health will swing into action to make sure, people don't die further from this.
Right.
Okay, so the National Examination Council, NECO, has announced that result of exams for November, December 2022 is out, and that 59,000 students sat for that exam. 59,124 students sat for the exams, and about 31,316 of all that number were males, and the performance was good. 76.13% got credits and above in English language and other subjects, while for mathematics, 57,700 out of the 43,000 passed got credits and above in maths. Right. So they comment the result. They're also in the same vein asking state governments who are owing for the past years
3 billion
what they are owing NECO. And I wonder how NECO would survive if the states continue to declare free education for exams and not pay.
Yeah.
3 billion is huge.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. We're hearing that some violence have broken out in Lagos, not Jota. So we'll be having the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Benjamin Hudain, to speak to us on the updates in Lagos State. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view. Right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
It's not just web, or who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I respect,
they'll judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. My just come out with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
when they're nice divorcees,
I would just
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll not drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. Yeah. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good person.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person, but then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on 3rd Mainland Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change? What would change the scenario? Like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your
or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you not a job.
Don't tell you, you lose for your web.
Thanks for staying with us. While we're expecting that we get the Police Public Relations Officer, SP Benjamin Hundeyin, to join us very soon, we're told that the hotspots are, the boiling points are Ojota, K2, My 12, Aigbe, and we're going to be getting our fans or our viewers from those areas to call in to let us know exactly what they've seen or heard in their neighborhoods. But the situation right now appears to be calm, as we've seen that police has gone there to restore calmness in the communities. However, We're not sure if there are injuries or if there are likely deaths. Once we get in the SP, Benjamin Hundeyin, to give us an update, we'll know exactly what happened. But in the meantime, call the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, and also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Let's hear your observations in your neighborhood, especially we observed that this week we've had similar riots in Edo, we've had in Ilorin, we have in Ibadan, we had in other states across the nation. Those were burning banks, destroying ATMs, putting bonfires out there, causing trouble. And Lagos State definitely doesn't want this. So obviously we'll just wait till the SP gets in touch with us. But in the meantime, we'd like to take some phone calls. What have you heard? Nima, you were able to avert that this morning when you're coming to work. Tell us what you saw.
Okay, so I drove all the way to Ojota. I crossed the bridge at Odoyalaro, and I was inwards Ojota when I saw cars reversing. But because I couldn't find out what they were reversing on, and some of them turning around and doing a straight one way into me, I tried to go off into the service lane and continued with the journey. And then at some point we couldn't go further. We couldn't get to the MRS filling station at all. I couldn't even see in front of me. There was smoke. And so fortunately I saw a car, and somebody was able to say to me that there's attack at Jota, that they've been attacking from my 12 inwards. We were able to find our way into Ogudu. Thanks to one man in a Pontiac who was able to direct me towards Ogudu, and then we were able to find our way. Let me pause you for a second, because I'm told that SP Benjamin Hundeyin is now on the phone. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us this morning. So we heard that there were hotspots this morning, people protesting and causing some kind of a mayhem around Ojota, my 12 and K2 area. Could you give us an update on exactly what you've seen or heard so far?
Well, people came out to comment trouble, to the roads, make bonfires, and moment we got wind of that. So the situation was brought on that.
It's a bit hard to hear you. It's a bit muffled. I can't make out what you're saying.
Hello, can you hear me?
It's a bit muffled.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I said normality has been restored. All the roads that were blocked have been cleared. And we are still on ground to monitor the situation and make sure there is no further breakdown of law and order.
Okay, well, can you say what exactly started the arrest? What exactly was it about this morning? Did you make any arrest also?
I'm yet to ascertain. Rumors are flying around that it's because of the cash policy, but I cannot confirm that yet. I'm looking into that. But what I can confirm is that normality has been restored. And talking about arrest, no arrest has been made yet, but we are on ground to make sure there is no further breakdown of law and order.
Were there any casualties, or was just the bonfires you saw?
No, we don't have any reports of casualties.
Oh, fantastic.
As we speak. People just block the roads to express grievances for what now I'm yet to ascertain. But no reports of casualties.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll let you go at this time. We just wanted to get an update from you to be sure. I'm happy that normalcy has been restored, and that so far no reports of any casualties have been reported. Thank you very much, SP Benjamin Hundeyin, for joining us this morning. We appreciate your confirmation. All right, so let's go on a break. I mean, this is really sad. We don't know the reason, as he said, but some have assumed, or we have assumed, that it's because of the cash crunch. I mean, other states have had this, and this is like a copy of other states. So when you see other states doing stuff like that, many of these boys also take to the streets and thinking that they can also make their grievances known through these means. But we also saw pictures of the crowd in front of CBN this morning. I just saw that video right now. There's a huge crowd trying to deposit the best card, because today is the last day, according to the president. But according to the Supreme Court, there's no last day. So that is still debatable, but we'll see how that goes. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss our topic for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
It's not just wear, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So like, if I had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on
home.
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Man, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it, but if I find out,
when they are nice divorcees,
I would just.
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter. No matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
What's your age?
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Aigbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Per. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's our Celebrity Friday gist. So the celebrity that is trending today is Mercy Aigbe, and she's trending because she's on vacation with her husband, and there was a comment by her husband's first wife who said that this would have been their 20th year anniversary. If they had still been together, they would have celebrated it together. She was on vacation at the Maldives, and she was also showing on Instagram dinner movie at the Jungle Private Cinema, floating breakfast, dinner by the beachside, relaxing with champagne in the jacuzzi, kayaking, amongst many other things. And people are like, this over-peppered them now. Why are you over-peppering the first wife? That this would have been the first wife's 20th anniversary. Why are you doing all this wahala? Others are saying, why doesn't everybody mind their business? They're saying, well, it's her anniversary. She's an adult. If she chooses to spend time with her husband, whose business is it? But on the flip side, people are thinking, well, even if it's your husband, know that there was somebody there before. And you don't want to over-pepper them so that she doesn't feel too bad about the relationship. That's the conversation. What do you think about this? You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweet. So I don't know why everybody was going on and on about Mercy Aigbe traveling, because I thought it was really fun for her to travel to the Maldives. I saw the pictures. It even occurred to me about there was somebody else until that post where this lady now said, oh, it would have been our 20th year anniversary. So you try to understand where she's coming from. But what are your thoughts on the vacation? Was it wrong for her to go on a vacation that her husband wanted her to go for? Who likes to go first, Mariam?
Okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with a wife going on vacation with her husband.
Right.
And, you know, as is the practice now, we put everything on social media to celebrate it, to thank God for it. And as you said, even for me, I just thought, when I saw some of the pictures, I just thought, oh, really nice, interesting, you know. And I didn't think about the first wife. And I think the conversation that people are having now and talking about, oh, if this was her 20th anniversary and you are the second wife, maybe you really did not put her into consideration. Now, I'm not talking to the second wife, I'm talking to the husband that married the first wife. If didn't he remember that it was also their 20th anniversary, and then, you know, say to the second wife, can we all do it, 3 of us together? Or let me do spend time with the first wife now, and then we'll go ahead with our own holiday later. And for me, I think what is of concern is the insincerity of polygamy, or what we call polygamy. So there is one way that we look at it, where we're told, like, theoretically it's supposed to be when a man equally shows attention, love, whatever, to all the wives involved. But in practice, is that how it is? Is it really about equally sharing love and attention? Is there fairness? And obviously there isn't. So when a lot of people, so for me the conversation is when women say, oh, I don't want a polygamist, and they say, well, your father was or your grandfather was. What they are saying is that there's an unfairness. Yes, it may seem, on paper, it may seem like a good thing. This is what we've always done, make a bigger family, and then we all celebrate together. But in practice, people are not always happy. Right. So for me, this is not it does not look to me like a polygamy. It looks to me like a woman who has been sidelined in her marriage, but has been asked, you now put a banner of polygamy on top. So she cannot go out and make too much noise, because they will now use that polygamy card on her and say, after all, there's so many before you. Maybe even her father was a polygamist. Right. And that is why there's another celebrity couple where the man has said, I have brought in a second wife. And we can see her constantly saying, I would never be part of this situation that you have created. Because when you and I got married, that was not what you promised me. And now you have brought someone. And you're trying to color it as a polygamy situation. And
Okay.
It makes sense that she's insisting on that now, because there truly is an unfairness that happens. First of all, there's a betrayal that makes it possible for there to be a polygamy when you have not given that as, when that was not your initial agreement, and then in the implementation and then living in that sort of situation, there's no fairness.
Let me come to you, BC. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree that Mercy was being unfair by showing her vacation with her own husband?
So, for me, I believe there's what they call planned polygamy, where you have a conversation from the beginning to say, okay, I'm entitled to marry as many as I want. You that you're coming in, are you ready that maybe after some time I will pick a second wife, I'll pick a third, I'll pick a fourth, and you have like an agreement. Okay, I know my husband will be a polygamist. I'm the first. Thank you for picking me as the first, but I will welcome any other person who comes. And then before the person comes, you must have highlighted or
rules of engagement.
Yes, you've told your wife that I'm interested in this person. I would like to bring her home. Your wife buys into bringing that woman home, and that was how it was practiced in our father's days. Where it's even the wife, like in my culture, it's the wife that will even go and bring the woman home. It's planned. So in that one, there's this right or wrong that is usually instituted, because the man tries as much as possible to ensure that everybody is treated equally. They had planned it from the beginning, and they have decided how they want to share the love. 10%, 20%. If it's not your day, I will not come into your bedroom. If it's not your time to cook, you will not cook for me. You know, it's planned. Then if this happens in such a planned situation, and unfortunately it doesn't happen, you can say she was not okay, or she was not right to have flaunted it. But this is not, for me, this is not polygamy. This is a matter of somebody sidelining you and pushing you aside. And I will not blame Mercy for having her vacation and posting on social media. She's living her life. I would blame the man who knows that there's a first person somewhere there who's supposed to be having a 20th anniversary, and he didn't put her into consideration. So the way Mercy entered the whole thing, it was not planned. So her looking out for the woman, except of course she's just an angel, because some women will get in there and feel, okay, don't treat, let me give you this smudgy, small. So there was a time a customer came to buy something from me, and he wanted to buy for his wife as well. But then he came with somebody that I was suspecting they had something, because the pet names he was using to call her, I just knew something was happening. So I brought out my finest hairs, and I said, okay, pick this for madam. He said, no, madam will not like it. Madam will not like it. And he was asking the other babe, help me select for madam. And I was like, so I felt she was not interested. So when it was not her time, so the guy just picked bang, bang, bang for madam.
Madam in the house.
When it was now her time,
it was expensive.
My finest hairs, 3.
Hey!
Silky, straight, bone straight.
Is that the one for herself?
Yes, sir.
What hundreds of thousands? She picked 3 cut, and it was paining me because I was actually pushing this guy to pick this for madam. No. And she picked for herself. And that's the selfishness of women. That's why they say women, all these women supporting women, we are not supportive of ourselves. We don't like ourselves. We look for every opportunity to bring ourselves down. If she had like a kind heart to say, oh, okay, this is actually your, okay, even if we have to go, I'll do it on the low key so that she doesn't feel that bad. But it takes an angel to do that. And most women are not angels. So I will not blame her. If you, the man, cannot say, this is my first, this is our 20th, I want to celebrate her, we can do your own later. Who am I to blame a girl that's enjoying herself?
Okay. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, as I said, when I saw the vacation, I was really thrilled for her. Because one thing I admire about Mercy is that she found love. Like, listen, it's always good to find love. When you're down and out and you feel things are down, and then you find somebody who you connect with. So I was happy that she's happy. But the truth is that in that happiness, somebody is also hurting. You know, so you now think, okay, how do we therefore look at this 360 and say, do we care for, okay, the first wife, the families, the children involved? Remember, the man also has children who also expect that daddy is also caring for my mom. So what are your perspectives? Especially, this is your area, polygamy matters. This is
I mean, monogamy, yes. I don't have 2, 3. But I had said earlier when we talked about Mrs. New marriage that she's not carrying herself the way she should. You know, she not being a Muslim, the least she can have is empathy. With that, every other thing will fall in place. She has to be kind, and she's not. When the second wife comes and they tell you, no, it's because the first wife did not have children. No, it's because she's not well educated. You come in and think, oh no, I have a strength over her, and that's, you can't be happy over somebody else's pain. It's just time that is waiting. You're going to come in 360 karma. You come your own. Our mothers from our mothers' time in the olden days, they have plenty of stories you can learn from if you're here at the ground. But if you are enjoying the moment, enjoy the moment.
What if women of today just prefer to enjoy the moment? You know, a lot of women don't think of the future. It
doesn't balance.
I'm happy today.
It doesn't balance.
I have my own and I'm fine.
Hers is a complicated case. So he's married, has kids. She's married. She's been married. She has kids. They're coming in with 2 kids. So there's an existing family. What is the best thing to do? And you have to be deliberate. The best thing to do is make sure that that family is united because of you. You are the force in the center. If it is her 20th anniversary and you've booked your ticket, sensitivity. Let her be the one to say, I am not going.
Maybe she doesn't know. How will she come? How do I know?
Are you serious?
Your own wedding anniversary.
If the man is not telling her, how will she know?
You see, me, I do not know your wedding anniversary. I wasn't at the venue. Neither are we married to the same husband. But if somebody is married to Zibi today, the person has to know my wedding anniversary.
So how would the conversation come up?
Exactly.
So when
not necessarily a conversation between you and her, as if you're setting out
even
the
with
rules.
the man, I'm just wondering.
So you're sensitive. You'll be like, so how
you have like
maybe if
even
it was
our
anniversary, I'd be like, it's our first year anniversary. When is your
own? So you are the one who notes it. Okay, even in my own monogamy, for instance, I get my birthday, my husband's gifts right, because I'm listening on the conversation. This is one thing that I have the intention. I would have loved this thing, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to shift it. I know what to give you next. No, let me sacrifice this thing for now. I know what to give you next. I know the dates. I know the important. I'm listening to you. You're talking your own. I'm nothing.
Trust me. I will not even remember.
You know if you forget your husband's birthday. We're just giving example.
No, if a second wife comes for instance, I will not remember to be asking. If you don't tell me that, okay, this is it.
It's not your nature, but if you're deliberate about making that place home
for this first
for yourself, yes, your goal as in a polygamy is not to come in and displace anybody. That one is say you are coming to fight, you are creating war. If your goal is to be in a polygamy in Islam, like the way she has said, because suddenly now it's Yawa Alaji. If you want to do polygamy traditional wise, as you are coming, everybody is on their own. Swords sharp, everything battle ready. You are coming, even your children, you are battling with them, you are eyeing children, you are knocking people's children in the corner. That's traditional. What you want to do is Islam.
There are polygamous homes.
Put a lot of things in because
polygamous homes.
See, let me just land this. If the man is seen by God to maltreat the first wife, it is sinful for him. There's a Quranic verse I'm just struggling to remember now. That's why they say that balance must happen in provision and time. In Islam, it is a sin, and there's a consequence for it in Jannah in the hereafter for that man. So you are not going to come into polygamy in Islam with the knowledge of I just want to mind my business. No polygamy before you practice it. Don't go and sit in one corner and say, "He did not tell me." It's just as we women married to men, and we would rather just stay away from his family. Maybe there's drama there. You know what? But to break his skin for him by forcing him to stay with you, you exposing him to the word of God. So you make some effort, whether or not it's comfortable, to make sure. No, they're not force and they're not drag.
What Nima has just said has, I think, it's very important in the sense that a lot of people just think polygamy is marrying more than one wife. It's much more than that. It's also how you intend to live with these wives in such a way that not one of the party feels like they have been put aside or set aside. And so we need to be honest. When a man steps out on his marriage, he needs to be honest that I have stepped out on my marriage, not I am a polygamist. The polygamist is saying that I have decided to get another wife and I'm talking to you, the first wife. That person has to be carried along. There's something I've been noticing recently with many of the Hausa weddings I see now. So a man is getting married to a new wife. Now I see the first wife come to the reception.
Yes.
They are part of the reception. They do, I don't know if it's just for social media or for the day, but I feel that it makes you understand, I'm coming into this man's family that already has someone there.
Yeah.
And so when I come there and realize I'm not the only one, whatever I decide to do, I have to also put those people into consideration. I'm married to a man who used to be married before. He's not a polygamist, I'm not in a polygamy. But there are some things that I know that he has children before, and you know, there's a family that has been there before me. And so there's some things that I would always put them also into consideration. It was very important for me, you know, when I was having children, that my own children form a relationship with their elder siblings. It's very important. And it would require that I would do some things differently. It would require that I will make some compromises. It will require that I will be decently behaved towards their mother. Do you understand? I will not come down and say, here I am now. I'm the queen of the manor. Everybody bow down. You know, I've had to do that. And I feel that if you know that this marriage is a polygamy, the way it's supposed to be, make sure when you get there, everyone is put into consideration. But also the men need to do better. You cannot be treating the mother of your children, especially how are the children supposed to look at this now? Mommy is upset because daddy has not considered her feeling, considered her. How does he think that the children would look at him? You can get away. You think you are getting away with a lot of things now because the children are too young to say much or do anything. But they will grow older someday, and you will be unhappy about the consequences of what you
also say. There's a part of this story that we've not discussed. You know, Mercy Aigbe is a brand, and many companies, many brands use her and her husband. They like her husband together, so they use them. They send them on these kind of vacations. So many have suggested, and I think there's a flyer that it's an all-expense paid trip to the Maldives. So it's like a publicity for this brand. It wasn't as if the man took out his own personal money to take her on this vacation to slight his first wife. Was because a brand had offered to pay them this on this trip.
And Coty demands. Coty demands that.
Coty demands what?
Wait. Until not be job. Coty demands that the first wife who has a sensitive date ahead, if they are truly in a polygamy in case they never divorce, should be notified. We are doing this for a brand. This will maybe look like a slight, but we intend no insult or slight to your person, and explain to her that your compensation probably is coming after this is done, this is work. So you don't think that, this is a special person.
Somebody gives me a job and I'm not thinking, okay, who is this job going to affect if I go on this trip? Is that what you're saying?
Do you know, if it was not a polygamy, just you and your husband, and something important is coming up in a few days for his birthday, and you got this job that you have to go for, you will put him into consideration. You will say to him, or to whoever it is offering you this is an important day coming up for my husband and I. For me, going on this trip with a group of girls or other guys, it would not look well for him. Because you love him, because he's important to you, you will put him into consideration. What we are talking now is not about the trip. It's okay to have the trip. It's okay to have the brand. We're saying that in doing whatever it is you're doing as a polygamist, are you putting all the other people in that party into consideration? It doesn't come across that way.
So what also makes you think that she was not put into consideration or she was not told? Sometimes the way life is, you can just wake up on the wrong side of bed and you want to just cause sensation. You're not feeling good about it, even though you have been told. But you just want to write something. Okay, you're not going to say they have told you, but this is how I'm feeling. It's supposed to be my so time, but these people are away right now. And then we jump on the matter without even knowing if everything has happened. If you sit them down now, it's possible that she's aware that this is happening. But the point here and the point everywhere when it comes to this polygamy is that women should begin to take their happiness in their hands. Whether you're married to one man or you're married to whether you're married to one man and in a monogamous relationship, or you are in a polygamous relationship, you should understand that nobody owes you happiness. If you don't find it yourself, things will happen in that relationship, planned or unplanned, that will frustrate you, and then you keep expecting people to change their plan to make you happy. Take hold of your own happiness.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to that point because it's very valid. Oladipo, I believe. Thanks for calling. You're there.
Yeah, good morning.
And good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. What I want to say is this. Now, when there's a new life, a man will want to showcase the new life. So that is what Mr. Aigbe did. She found love, like you said, and she was enthusiastic about it. She's enthusiastic about it, and she's just happy. So it's not a thing on her part displaying the newfound love in the hand of a man. The whole blame are put at the doorstep of the husband who could not remember a relationship of 20 years that has spanned over 20 years. Choose to jettison that for a new home or a new life, which of course is not even sure how that we are going to last. But the journey of 20 years is not a day's journey that a man shouldn't be conscious of and give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Okay. You know, so I'm getting confirmation that actually I won't mention the name of the brand because they didn't pay for this publicity, but it's actually a firm that took her and her husband for that trip, and they're saying that the deal was for them to film at the Maldives and also influence for them. They're saying that the content was also announced even way before she even traveled in the first place. So why was everybody now focusing on her trip and not the fact that she was doing a job at the time? That's the conversation. Yes.
The call came in. So we need to understand, and this is not just for married couples, but for friendships, for human interactions, that we must learn to limit our expectations, or else we continually be in a space where somebody is doing something to you and causing you to feel sad. And that's also not okay for your mental health. So you are in this particular position right now, and it's not happening the way you want. Could you kindly have a silent conversation to find out why it's happening, and then deal with it, move on?
Oh, about first wife?
Yes, first wife, yes. That's one. Deal with it and move on. Understand that, for Christ's sake, I'm not trying to point this particular person. I'm just giving instances. We've heard of cases where it was effort that they ate that made them to do what they are doing. And the man is not in the right senses to even make the proper decision. So I came from a home where a few times my father ate effort too, and he was confused. He abandoned everybody in effort now.
It was just
like he was. So let's not always assume that. Thank you. Always assume that everybody's working in their right.
What if this man is working in the family?
No. There are two scenarios I'm pointing here. It could also be. I'm not talking about this man before they go and carry me. I'm just giving instances in cases like this where there's somebody in the house and then the man follows another person. We've heard that they have eaten effort. And that's why they're following the other. And I'm using my own personal life to say a few times growing up too, my father chopped effort, and we saw the difference in behavior till the thing cleared. And he realized himself, this is Africa, these things happen. We must put that into consideration. So you, as the first wife, who sees that things are now changing, they are doing things and doing that, please find a way, have a conversation and move on, and just leave it.
I always hear coaches when they say, I'll come to you in the morning, people say that, find your happiness. Your happiness is not dependent on the next person. So in this situation, how does that play out when it's in your face?
It's true. Find your happiness. But we forget that with a lot of the polygamous marriages that happen is that you were not told, you were not carried along. Nobody sat you down and gave you a rules of engagement or told you what is about to happen. You were betrayed into a polygamous marriage. You thought you and Mr. were doing your monogamy together, and one day you wake up. Sometimes for some people it's even worse. You don't even know anything is happening until you open social media one day and then you see that your guy has traveled somewhere with somebody, and then people will now turn to you and say, find your happiness. No, but auntie, allow me to feel hurt first and angry and betrayed. Talking about finding my happiness when we were building ourselves as one man and one woman, and we're building and we're saying you are my happiness, you are my, people do not know. All of a sudden there's someone has you find it, but first of all, can I deal with what I'm going through now? My 20th anniversary is such a big deal. Can I also deal with that?
Please take yourself out.
Exactly.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be
not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison, it's not by Audison.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter, but we're wrapping up right now. Let's give you comments on social media. Do we have any?
Queen Mahu Gamer says it takes a sensible woman to know to tread carefully because of the 4 children involved. Said she lies. Maybe even if she lies, she wasn't Funsho's friend. They know and talk to each other. This is wrong. Oluwaseun says Funsho should just move on. If the man is not digging for you again, move on. Expect that Funsho wants to be in the news too, so he's enjoying that. She's enjoying that. It's not easy though, but she has to.
Okay.
So please quickly. Busy talking strong is not the same as being strong. You never know how you are going to deal with the situation until you like it. After crying and breaking all the things I want to break, I'll find my own happiness. That's how I'll handle it.
Immaculate Boy says any company offering her and hubby that package advertise it is an irresponsible organization. The person that accepts the offer is equally irresponsible.
Why?
It's like getting Two-Face to advertise condom or faithfulness. Wow. Immaculate Boy.
Wow. Someone more like this says, blame not mercy. The husband failed to fulfill his obligations as a polygamist. He should be careful as a polygamist, he should be careful in decision making, also be considerate and not sentimental. BTG Home says, probably Funsho has been a witch all along. I don't blame Mercy at all. Buhari said, Morayo, good morning. Second wives are habitually the notice me type. It's not coincidental that they are having such when it's the first wife's wedding anniversary. They do this to tell the world it's my time. There's an angle I wanted to talk about, the angle of you. You know, I'm talking about you being the consolidator, bringing the 2 families together. There's that angle where you make enemies that are not parties to the marriage. So I don't believe children are parties to a marriage. I believe adults, individuals are parties to a marriage. So you have come in, the man has children with his wife, and you have your own. And now you both don't have kids together. You don't want a situation where the maltreatment of the mother from your husband, now your own case is not the example Miriam gave. Your own is that you are marrying the man together, are noticed by the children. And while you're not noticing, you're earning enemies from his kids. They're waiting. So you see sometimes a man passes, there's so much bitterness from a set of children. You're wondering, is it you they did it to? It was their mother's battle, but they chose to fight it. Depending on how it goes.
Deeper.
So a woman who is not with this mindset don't have business in polygamy. You have to have sense. It's not for the I want to be happy, I don't care in what. There's a thin line between finding your own happiness and being happy by yourself and selfishness. If it's in this arrangement. So if you are not in that space of mind, don't bother about it, because you're going to gather baggages you don't need.
Mercy also is wealthy on her own as a person, so it's not like she's dependent on him. It's usually women who are dependent on this man, that when things happen, maybe the man dies, they now fight over this children, who is biological, who has access, who doesn't have access. But the truth is that she's a successful person, he's successful, and they're coming together.
Number one, let's even pick from the things that we see. Talk what you know. Number one, Funsho says she built that house with her husband. Mercy is married him into the house. A wealthy woman can say, okay, we don't want your things, stay in your house. I've seen polygamy where the man leaves the house for the first wife and moves to the new wife's house. If you can, if you want to, if you want rich. So this one, God forbid there's a property struggle after inheritance. They'll be dragging something. That's my personal.
Okay, we have to wrap up on this, but I think really in a nutshell, I mean, today's Friday, Celebrity Friday, so we like to talk about celebrities and their gist and their happenings. But really the truth is, like, polygamy is a serious business. It's something where both parties, all the adults involved, must take it seriously. I know that all their actions or inactions communicate something, and that can actually lead to good or to bad. So this conversation really is a conversation to help others in this situation where you're the second wife, you're the first wife, you are dating somebody who is married, possibly there'll be marriage involved. Understanding that once there are multiple parties in the marriage, it's a serious conversation to have to ensure that all parties have some sense of fairness and togetherness. But if it's full divorcing of the first wife, which we are told that in this case, in Mercy's case, what we've heard is that the first wife is asking for divorce and they've been separated for a while. If that is the case, she is entitled to find love, or the man is entitled to find love elsewhere, and Mercy is entitled to her own happiness too.
That's a separation. When there is separation, there's marriage. I'm saying when there's a divorce,
when there's separation and when there's separation and there's a possibility of divorce, Therefore, you, the new girlfriend or the new wife, why should you worry about the first wife's anniversary?
As a single girl, I had polygamists asking for my hand in marriage.
Yeah,
I had polygamists, men who thought, it was okay to make me their second or third wife. I turned down most of them because of sensitivities like this. I was a very impatient girl. I would have been the first wife. I would suck the man. So I don't want that kind of baggage in my life. I said no. And number two is I wanted to make another point of, being careful to get into that arrangement. You don't want to be the one to say there's a divorce. If you're in a marriage and you're telling me I'll divorce my wife, they go. Don't make me the reason for that divorce. I don't want to be that excuse. And that's selfish women. It's what it was.
Some women don't mind. Some women will see you that.
Leave your wife.
I think it's where people are chasing somebody that I know. They know he's married, happily married, but they're just saying, I just attach me. I just want that name. I have my own money. Just add me. Just help my kids.
Okay, so there's some things when we discuss, I like to bring it home and bring it to our children, because for us that is when it hits home. And this conversation is not always about, yes, some people do it, some people don't do it. It's about what would we like to do? What would we like for our sisters to do? What would we like for our daughters to do? Would I want my daughter to be the one that says, I don't care that you're married, just attach yourself to me? Or would we want our daughter to be the one that is sensitive to the other plight and decides, even if I'm going to attach myself to you, I hope this is a polygamy that is well discussed. So that's why we have this conversation.
Yes, I understand what you're coming from. What we want is different from what will happen at the end of the day. You forget that people have their different personalities. People have their different traumas.
People learn from sharing conversation.
Yes, if you are interested in learning. Sometimes we have been drumming things into people's head. Be a kind human being. Be a merciful person. How many people have heard us? That's the thing. So don't assume that they will do it that way for you to be better or be happy. Assume that it may not work out that way and find a way to make yourself whole. That's the point I'm making.
I have to wrap up now, so allow me to wrap up. What we have found and I've confirmed is that a company actually took them on a vacation, but we're asking that there could have been a bit more sensitivity in seeing that the first wife's anniversary was coming. Maybe they could have postponed the trip. Either way, it wasn't like the man used his money to take his new wife out on vacation. There was a business trip, and he went out together, and then the whole world is blaming him for taking his wife over vacation.
We are wrapping up. I got to wrap up without him being there now.
Okay, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we have a guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Sorry.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Aigbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Per. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed too. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something.
Thanks for staying with us. Our guest today is a politician, member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ibrahim Obanikoro. To join the conversation, you can call us on 0812-7053-687. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for having me.
So you have been a member of the House of Representatives 3.5 years, representing Etiosa, local government in Lagos
Federal Constituency.
Federal Constituency. Tell us about the work so far, what you've done, and how you've been able to influence lawmaking at the national level.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's been a journey, considering the fact that for about a year we had COVID lockdown. We were unable to operate, and then with the mixture of COVID and SARS, I think it was about a year and some months that out of the 3.5 years that we've been in office. But then again, it's been a learning curve because National Assembly is a huge institution. You have 360 members, so at every given time, you are battling against 59 others, trying to bring one infrastructure or development to your constituency, trying to pass any motion, trying to move any motion, trying to pass any bill, because your bills have to cut across. Motions are almost clear cut. They're almost like emergency. Okay, I have this emergency in my area, I can move a motion. Others don't necessarily have to go against it because you are dealing with a particular issue. But when it comes to presenting bills, that's when you have to make sure it cuts across, that even though it's bringing joy to your constituency, it's not bringing pain to them in the north or in the southeast. So that's why you have to do a lot of politicking, a lot of talking to make sure that whatever bill you want to pass is going to sit well with others. Otherwise, do not see the light of day in the National Assembly. Right. And that is why it takes a lot to move, to pass a bill, to go from first reading, second reading, third reading before it becomes an act. And it's a lot tougher if you are a first timer coming from a place like Lagos where you already have 24 members coming in. And so, and out of the 24, about 13 of them are highly respected ranking members. So all these things are put into consideration before, they bring the torchlights to you that you're just coming for the first time. Okay, so that's what the journey has been so far. It's been a learning curve, it's been an experience, and it's been worth it.
Nigerians are faced with a situation right now that would like I would like that President Muhammad Buhari is my constituency representative, so I just go directly to the So you are representing Etiosa. Imagine that, your people have asked you to do something for them. As a lawmaker, what's the limitations that you have to solving this naira scarcity? How far can you go to represent and bring about change to ease the lives of your people as a lawmaker?
So I think the House have done everything we can to try and ease the pain on Nigerians. I remember when the CBN representatives, that is all the deputy governors and high-ranking members of the CBN, came to the National Assembly. I stood up and I asked them that, at your management's decision, when you were deciding, how much did you decide to print? Let Nigerians know. But till date, I'm yet to figure out how much they were. In same meeting, same sittings, I asked them, I said, your policy, what it's going to do in the long run is that it's going to kill businesses, which is currently going on. And in the long run, what's going to happen is that banks are going to feel the need to reduce in size because customers are not coming to the bank again. And what that automatically means is that banks will be downsizing. They'll be firing and laying off people, which is going to contribute to unemployment. And they are yet to give us a solution to that. And just yesterday, the speaker was also faulting the federal government for not abiding by
beyond faulting, what can you do?
And that's all we can do. We are lobbyists. We lobby, we shout, we cry, we speak for you. And he has been doing that on our behalf. And I've been doing that in my own little space as well. Like, this hardship is too much. I had my hair cut this morning. I could not give my baba 2,000 naira to barb my hair.
Wow.
That's how difficult the situation has been. I had to transfer money to him.
Etiosa, when we hear that, we just think wealthy people, well-educated, well-exposed. So those are the caliber of people that you'll be representing. But also we know that your constituency is like the two opposites in that constituency. So how do you, and I need to add another thing, is that when I hear that, I also remember you have quite a major contender for your office.
Okay.
And I'm wondering what your approach is, because what he has celebrity status, and how do you think that would affect your re-election or your campaign for re-election?
Well, it's just as a mixture of the masses, the middle class, and the rich. And, they are spread across Etiosa, but obviously there are more of the affluent in constituency 2, where you have Ikoyi, DI, and part of Obalende. Well, Obalende will be part of the middle class and masses. And then when you now go, you have riverine area, where it's island. Yes, Tapwa Bay, Abagbo, Ebute-Oko, Ebute-Efun, Okwata, about 7 villages of that stretch that don't even have electricity, so that they power themselves with generator. How do I deal with them? Because I've known them practically almost all my life. I've been part and parcel of the affluent, and I've been part and parcel of the middle class and the masses as well. So it's easier for me to relate with them. And if you come to Etiosa, you would see that the way I relate with them, the way we talk, the way we chat, hang out, is a lot different. They find peace in me, and I also find peace in them. And like I always tell everybody that cares to listen, popular does not win election anywhere in the world. It takes more than to be popular to win election. So, and politics and stardom and celebrity are two opposite.
Really? That's interesting.
They are two opposite ends. When you talk politics, you're dealing with reality. You're dealing with people with different emotions. You're dealing with different interests. You're dealing with different ideas. When you come to celebrity, all you're doing is trying to make believe. What's not. You're trying to make what's not real on TV. You're trying to set pace. So it's completely different. Your interests are aligned. You just want to make. Money. That's
then
what
you're
you do.
accusing celebrities now.
No, I'm not accusing. No, I'm not accusing. I'm not accusing them.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing them. I'm just saying that there are two different.
Let me get a few questions.
Two different aspects of life.
So I stay in Etiosa.
Thank you.
And last week I got a call. Ikate. Last week I got a call. Somebody called me and was asking me. So I'm like, how did you get my number? They wanted me to vote for your contender, and they were speaking. A young lady speaking to me about it. I'm like, how did you get my number? So we have the data of everybody who registered under Etiosa, and it was quite impressive. And she wanted me to promise that she has my votes for that day. But I had to start asking her other questions. What do you think you can do for people of Etiosa? We have peculiar problems in the sense that we have a lot of young people who are not doing anything, who are always on the roads. They will try and act like they are helping you solve the issues of traffic, but then they are trying to extort you. We have a lot of beggars on that axis. I would like to know what you intend to do for us, since we are in that environment, and how you can solve those issues for us if you get in, to see if I would vote for you. That is primarily the duty of the executive arm of government. And I know that in our last conversation with the governor, they are building a facility where they want to move this kids, especially the kids. The grown-up ones have been there for a long time. They're extremely evasive, they're very, very evasive. And there's actually, from investigation, there is a anchorman that, brings all of them there, tells them what, there's like a cartel, that brings them together, strategically places them where to go and where to be. And there's also an informant that informs them when the MOE is coming. You see that all of them will disperse and you can't see them. But I know that we've had this conversation with candidate, the gubernatorial candidate for Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu, and that there's a facility being put in place so that the ones we are able to get hold of, they will take them there for rehabilitation and education and what have you.
You implied earlier that being a first timer in the National Assembly, it could have been was a bit of a challenge, especially because those of you 24 that came in, 13 of you were well known, and you were just still trying to understand. So in a nutshell, you probably didn't get a lot of work done as I would have liked, because you're a first timer. So why do you think we should vote for you again?
On the contrary to that, and that's why I laid emphasis on the amount of time we've had to operate, just about 2 years and some months. And in that 2 years and some months, I've been able to move 4 bills that have gone through first reading. I've been able to move about 8 motions that tackled emergency situations such as the barrack renovation, because our barracks are a complete eyesore, especially the police one. We have ocean surge issues, it goes to the committee stage, and then the committee now starts relating with the necessary agencies and ministries to make sure they bring
a timeline to when it's delivered, so I can drive down that Etiosa and say, these are airplanes.
Not Etiosa, it's at the airport.
The airport, okay.
So that one, they're actually working on it. One of the issues we're having now is that there is litigation on some of the crafts. So that's one of the issues why they are stalling on that one. And then in this short period as well, I've been able to facilitate about 8 roads. Lekki Aigbe Expressway is heavily populated. It's taking more than it can handle. So some of the inner roads, I've been able to bring the federal government to help us rehabilitate it, so that if you don't have to get on Lekki Express, you don't have to. Just stay in your locality, do what you have to do, and go back home. We've been able to facilitate 2 different clinics in Lafayette area. One is fully equipped. We're in the process of handing over to the local government now so that I can start operations. During the campaign of 2019, when I went round, we realized that majority of the students in constituency 1 come to constituency 2 to do education. So one of the first things I did was that I was going to provide a free school bus to alleviate the pains of pockets of the parents, to also give them safety, because you have kids jumping from one bus to the other. So they're in just one bus, takes them from constituency 1 to 2 in the morning and takes them back in the afternoon. And over time, we've been able to facilitate 4 different schools, additional classrooms, so that at the end of the day, these schools can take in more students. So the long-term goal is that it will reduce the amount of students leaving constituency 1, coming to constituency 2. So everybody will stay in their locality to get their education. We have done a lot of empowerment. Our petty traders have given them cash to petty cash grants. Not me as a person, I mean through the federal government. Even me as a person, I've done it as well in numerous occasions, whereby you increase your market. At the end of the day, what your take home is, it should be more than what it used to be. We've done that for a few petty traders. And for our artisans as well, we send them for training. And after training, we'll give you tools just to go and better yourself and increase your take home profit.
And you're saying you did this
all this short period. And some elderly parents, a particular man, he was one that actually started this with me. He just wrote a letter to my office. I've never seen him in my life. He just wrote a letter to my office He has not been getting his pension. He's been retired for about 10 years. So I took it up upon myself. I started, going through Petard and Pencom, and eventually he started getting his pension. He got all his arrears paid, and then his monthly started coming in. And I didn't know that until he came to my office one day. Elderly man, prostrated. I was scared. Baba, I quickly jumped up and carried him on that. What can be the problem? That I hope I will be able to solve it. He said, no, I've solved it. He brought a letter. He didn't even think about it. He just said, let me just, see if this would work. In his language, he said, Moshe, I tried my luck, and I made it happen for him. And after that, I've been able to help one or two others in the same situation. So that's some of the things that I've been able to achieve in the last 2-3 months. I've actually had to operate. And we have a lot of estates. I don't think there's any other constituency in Nigeria that has the amount of private estates we have in Etiosa. We have about 200 private estates in Etiosa, and I've been able to cater for not all of them, but at least as many that I could. I have done that in terms of contributing to them, rehabilitating their roads, in terms of giving them fire extinguishers because fire is real, in terms of giving them solar street lights to eliminate dark spots in their estate, security at night, and so many other things like that.
Have someone who knew you back in the days, and he talks about how your personality is very friendly, you're a people's person, back when you guys were much younger, and I'm wondering, how has this been a factor in your political career?
That's one of the things that I was saying, that it comes to me easy, because it's just who I am. I just like being friendly. I like raising a finger to help anybody. In politics,
there's a line. Some people are elites. They cannot descend inside the masses. And some people are the people those who you call man of the people.
Regular.
They sit down. For some, it's only during elections they eat corn.
No, I am a man of the people. I find, like I said, I find peace in them. They find peace in me. We play ball together. Every Sunday, I usually play ball until now that because of campaign. And I'm sure immediately after campaign, I'm going to go back to playing my football every Sunday. I find time to go and hang out with the boys once in a while on a Friday or Saturday night. So it's still, with every party we go together. It's still the same. That's why sometimes on my status, I always put it there. Same on me. If there's anything changing, it's you. If you have me on if you have my contact, you say once in a while, if you go back to that genuine song, same on me, I always put it up on my status all the time that I'm still the same IBO that you used to know. Nothing else.
What's the IBO?
That's my acronym. Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro.
Okay, that's fine.
I always tell my parents that I think I was born for
this. Yes. So how have you, I want the strength of your campaign team. Like she mentioned, you're contending with someone who is popular, who may attract a lot of sympathy because we know him and he serenades us with his music. Okay, let's see what would happen if this person gets in position. So how grounded are you? What are some of the things that you're putting in place to ensure that a lot of people come out and support you to get re-elected again?
How grounded am I? Well, let's take back to 2011. I've been contesting for elections since 2011. I was at the age of 29. When I started campaigning at the age of 28, ran into election at the age of 29. I have realized that some of us have to be, it's not all of us that would be in 9 to 5. It's not all of us that would be in entertainment. Some of us have to dedicate ourselves to making sure that we try and drive our country in the direction at which we want it to go. And I've been doing that since 2011. Consistently and constantly, I've contested. When I was in the PDP, I contested for assembly, chairmanship, assembly, twice in 2011 and once in 2015. And my elections were keenly contested. One of them as far as winning the election, going as far as tribunal to appeal. That's how grounded I can be. I've had my own structure before joining the APC, and if you know very well, the APC is a well-grounded party in Lagos State. Coupled with a grounded candidate, it will take a mountain.
Let's talk about your candidates.
To move the two to take a mountain.
Okay, so the Obanikoro name.
Yes.
Of course, when I first heard it, I was expecting a much older person. So, not being Lagosian, I guess it's a political family, political name. And how would you say that has influenced you and also helped you in your political career?
Your dad's work. How much of it?
Obanikoro is a royal family in Lagos State. We're part of the White Cap Chiefs.
Okay.
And then there's a popular Obanikoro bus stop in Palgrove area.
Where there's also your dad.
I'm giving you why Obanikoro is resonates a lot with people. I've had people look at me and say, I've been hearing your name since I've been in primary school.
Yes.
Say, yes, sir. That's my father, sir. Then I've had people accuse me, you did this when you were chairman. You did that when you were chairman. I'm sorry, sir. It's not me, it's my father. So, yes, my dad is a politician, arguably one of the most successful politicians from Lagos State. It's a huge shoe to fill. And I don't think I'm feeling it properly yet, but I'm sure that over time, I think I'm capable to be able to fill it. But yes, he was once a local government chairman, once a senator, once a commissioner, once minister, once ambassador in Lagos State. And he obviously himself and his friends, most especially the late ambassador Ademola Seriki, may his soul continue to rest in peace.
What's your relationship with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he's running for presidency? What are your thoughts on this?
It's joyous for me to be able to have the president of Nigeria's phone on my number on my phone, and then I can actually call him, and I'm 110% sure that he will pick my call. And if he doesn't, that I can actually go to the villa and say, Daddy, I'm calling you. And I think that's something I'm ready to work with. It's bringing so much joy to me, because I know that for a fact I'm going to bring a lot of development to Etiosa. Through that relationship.
Well, knowing him that closely, how would you describe him?
Very intelligent man. Is what actually attracts me a lot to him is he's a very good orator. He sees a lot. If he tells you, if you have a decent conversation with him, because it's kind of tough to have a decent conversation with him, because he's always having everybody, his attention is always divided. But he still has that ability to say, okay, when I was with Aigbe last, this was our conversation. It will continue from there. So that attracts me to him a lot, his ability to just pick up and detail this conversation from where you guys are.
And the Lagos State Governor?
Oh, Mr. Selebu. Extremely.
How's your relationship with him?
Very good, very good.
And do you think he should be re-elected?
I have no iota of doubt that he should be re-elected.
All right, so we have to wrap up with you very soon. Etiosa, as it's been said earlier, is a very important area in the state, and you've shared with us what you've done so far and how you've been able to impact the lives of many people. They're watching you right now, and they're saying, in this our Etiosa, now, before we might not have options because we don't know them. Now we have options.
We know them now.
We know who these people are. Tell them why you must be selected over the others. I mean, you said a lot already, but there's got to be something that also hooks us more than that when we hear the other people speaking concerning.
First of all, they've always had options.
But we didn't know the options.
We've always, like I said, you know the option, the other option, because, and don't forget, this particular option was also on the card last election.
Yes.
So the options are already there. We've always had options in the previous election. In fact, I even think that, like I said, the previous candidate is a grassrooter. And when you are dealing with a grassrooter, it's a lot tougher than, because the previous candidate, Tony Bakari, he resonates with the grassroots as well. So that's a lot tougher than when you are dealing with somebody that does not connect with the constituency that is claiming to be. You say you're from Obalende, but your family house is in Moloni. Moloni is in two places in Lagos State, either in Lagos Island or Ebutemeta, not Obalende. So those are signs to let you know that he does not resonate with Etiosa. He doesn't understand Etiosa. But I have lived in Etiosa half of my life. I'm 41, going to be 42 today. I have served Etiosa. Going to be 42 this year at some point, June 30th, by the grace of God. I've lived in Etiosa half that time. I've dedicated my time to Etiosa. Like I said, I've been fighting for Etiosa since 2010. That I've been saying we want a better Etiosa. I contested for House of Assembly. I contested for chairmanship because I wanted something better for Etiosa. And eventually, I'm here trying to make sure that I make better for Etiosa. And that's why we are always available for all class. We We are on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we have the running website, I have a constituency office where everybody can
People have not called me, Sha.
Well, you see, that also depends on, we have over 400,000 voters in Etiosa. We cannot call all 400,000. And with the bracket, we are doing this from the same bracket, but we can be pulling from different blocks. So the block I am pulling from might be different from the block he is pulling.
Right. So we have some represents everyone. Buhari Kwam Oladimeji says that Mr. Obanikoro, listening to you today has changed my view about you. I'm able to see the confidence and seriousness in you towards your people. Keep it up. Okay, Honorable Father Adam says, my neighbor, Jide Koro, is on your view. His office is always open. I have never seen him with security details. Friendly, of course. The only issue is that people say to Kosho, because he doesn't give money. Rola Keho says, Nigeria don't give money. Nigeria is the country where political positions are passed from one generation to another of the same family, while the slaves and sacrifices go to religious houses to pray. What do you have to say about, this? Someone that may think that it was given to you.
It was given to you because it's all over profession. If a man is a doctor, the likelihood of two or one of his kids being a doctor is extremely high. If a musician, the likelihood of one or two of your kids being a musician is very high. So it's all over the world. You
understudied your
Yes, I don't see any. In the US, the Clintons are a political family. The Kerrys, the Bushes, they're all,
we have to wrap up, but I just cannot let you leave this table without asking if it's possible for you to hold our president for the statements he made yesterday concerning the Naira notes. What can the National Assembly do? Yes, especially because there's a Supreme Court judgment.
I found
the third arm of God. You're one of the third arms of God.
I think the Speaker came out yesterday to condemn it, and I'm a strong opinion of that as well. The Supreme Court should be the only arm of government to intervene in matters as such, and they have done that. And the law says that all arm of government are equal. We just have different jurisdictions. You as to execute, they make the law, and we pass the law. And if they've made the law, and the law of the land is the law of the land, nobody is above the law of the land.
We need to wrap up. That's all. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having
us today.
Thank you for having me.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
In coming elections.
Thank you.
Okay, today is the DJ, the ladies hangout. You have a free ticket, so we can come and let's not invite you. We have one political people.
No,
what do you mean by that?
No, if he's coming, he has to buy his ticket.
No,
who's giving you a free ticket?
Anyways, today's our Valentine hangout. Let's not bring any political people, please. It's not a political event.
Jesus.
You're just hanging out with the ladies, families. You don't anybody thinking that we are, that's. But thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's all we can take on this show. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.